Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's been about, I want to say, a week since we met, just about since we last talked. I'm going to wait for everyone to get in. It's before we get started, but I just want to say hello to everyone. We have a lot to cover. And just a few key things because a lot has happened. I don't want to really go into a lot of cosmetic stuff because there's some important things that we need to discuss in this whole situation. So we got a lot going on. We got the Georgia runoff that's happening. Hey everyone. Hey T. Hey Jahaziel. How are you, my friend? Rona. Oh wow, you guys are logging in. Everyone's logging in pretty quickly. Um, so there's a lot going on with that. First, was interesting just to address the elephant in the room. Of course, over the weekend, of course, you guys know I'm based in Baltimore, but in DC, they had the mega march. Here's the thing. If you're going to do a march, at least be original. Don't jack somebody else's name. A million MAGA march. Like, I think that's so fucking corny. First off. Basically, you had the Proud Boys, a lot of alt-right, right extremist groups come into the nation's capital to protest the election that was clearly lost, okay, by Donald Trump. During the daytime, of course, it was tension, but it got a little rowdy at night. There was reports of a stabbing. And of course, the Trump protesters and counter-protesters got into a clash. But nobody really gives a fuck about that because at the end of the day, we won. Okay? So we're not going to worry about your temper tantrum that you had in D.C. over the weekend. And me personally, I'm not going to give you that much press. So we've said something. I've said something about it, moved on, and now I'm moving on because, quite frankly, it's not a big deal to me. And it's not really newsworthy that a bunch of, overgrown, insecure, immature white men had a fit in the middle of the nation's capital because their football team lost. I don't really give a shit. Okay? Now, one thing that is interesting, we got a lot going on with the transition of power. Of course, Trump is out golfing and shit. He's not really doing what he needs to do. And we know that he's basically checked out of the job. And we're just basically counting down the time before Joe Biden takes office. Now, what I found was interesting is that if you don't know, and this is one of the things that I wanted to address, Trump is talking about reducing troops in Afghanistan, which is interesting. Now, if you're an anti-war person, you're like, oh my God, we just need to, do whatever, mind our business. I get it. But there's certain strategic things. You just can't, randomly, I'm not against having our troops come home. I'm not against having people be reunited with their families. But I think that it needs to be done in a fashion where as though it makes sense, okay? Because sometimes you can withdraw troops too fast and the people that you are actually there protecting can end up getting screwed. We saw that in Turkey a while back. I did a whole video on that. So it's certain things that go with that. So, and this is coming from Politico. I want to read you some of the article because I think it's fucking hilarious. And I'm gonna give my commentary on this after I finish reading. So, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Monday slammed President Donald Trump's plan for swift reduction of U.S. troop presence in Afghanistan, warning that it will be a gift to America's enemies and will undermine progress already made in the region. Okay? And I quote, "A rapid withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan now will hurt our allies and delight the people who wish to harm us," McConnell said bluntly. The Kentucky Republicans' remarks came as Politico reported that the White House had instructed the Pentagon to begin planning for a significant drawdown of U.S. troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. A defense official said that under the proposal, just 2,500 American troops will remain in each country by January 15th, just 5 days before President-elect Joe Biden takes office. Currently, there are between 4,500 and 5,000 troops in Afghanistan and around 3,000 in Iraq. McConnell's comments represented a rare break from the president, especially as he remains supportive of Trump's long-shot lawsuits alleging widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. But McConnell has consistently spoken out against Trump's tendencies to withdraw American troops from the Middle East. Okay? Last year, for example, McConnell condemned the administration's decision to remove U.S. forces from northern Syria. Remember, we talked about that with the Syrian debacle with Turkey, and introduced a measure opposing such a withdrawal. Okay? Speaking from the Senate floor, McConnell said an American retreat would embolden the Taliban, which is already failing to adhere to its obligations under a peace agreement negotiated earlier this year. Now, the thing is, from a strategic standpoint and seeing how everything went down with Turkey and how those people was kind of left out to dry, I kind of agree with what Mitch McConnell is saying. I never thought I would say that. But my thing is, this is not something. This is why I'm glad that he lost, because like I said, I always said this. I was never worried about what happened. I am worried about, but it never really. America always has problems, right? And so we're always going to have shit to fix at home. For the most part, we get around to kind of working through those things. It's a whole nother can of worms when you're impacting global policy, global positioning, and things of that nature. And I think it's fuck Joe Biden, okay? I think you put the country at such a deficit, and just you're putting our military and every so many people in a tough position because you lost. And you're going to withdraw troops 5 days before you leave office. So now this man and this woman have to come into office and deal with a fucking mess. A logistical and strategical global mess. And that's terrible. I'm not saying that everything that the United States military does is right and they get it right, but you're walking. Do you guys understand, Cabinet, that he's walking this administration that's coming into a damn global mess, a military mess? That's my issue with this. And you're doing it not because you give a fuck. Be clear. If you're a Trump person watching this, because I know y'all watch too, y'all leave y'all little comments and everything. Send your little emails. I got your emails, sis. Okay? Aren't you concerned about the well-being of soldiers, the well-being of, aren't you concerned about that? Like, I know that let's worry about home, and I think we definitely need to worry about what's going on home. Okay? But at the same time, there won't be a home to protect if shit goes south everywhere else. And then you find, instead of being in the Civil War that's of your own creation, you're in a world war that you don't really have that much control over. So you have to think about these things. I think that this is fucking terrible. Okay? Like, I just think that this is terrible. And like I said, it would be a different story if there was, like, a real strategic reasoning behind this. But it's not. It's not. Okay? So, we have a recount, okay? Just to pivot. We have a recount going on in Georgia. As we know, a lot of the Secretary of State in Georgia, the governor, these are all Republican people. Okay? And they're super annoyed by this recount. Okay? And we're going to get to that. But my view on, let me back up here. To end on this military situation, I find it interesting with Mitch McConnell. I know I just jumped a little bit. Okay? But to get back to this Middle East situation and Mitch McConnell speaking out about it. What Donald Trump is seeing right now, and I'm going to tie this in to the Georgia recount that's going on and how the Republican officials there are really, really pissed at him and going in. Donald Trump, I think, is realizing that he was used as a pawn. For as much control and as much of a base that he has that kind of steers the Republican Party to a certain way, people like Sith Lord McConnell, Lindsey Graham, they've been around for a long time. Okay? A long time. And they are not, I think what he's finding out is the reason why these people, McConnell, let's make sure everything is fair and all of that. But they use you as a pawn, sis. Once your time is up and your writing's on the wall, you didn't help them do what they wanted to do. And I think why Trump is in his feelings is because he really do think everything is about him. He really do think that he's the important person. No, you got played, sir. Once they saw that you had the fan base, they treated you. I'm going to tell you something. McConnell, Graham, all them people in all them Republicans in office, they used you. They treated you like a motherfucking TikTok phenomenon. You had 250 million followers. You went viral. People was feeling you. They couldn't go against it at the time, so they used your popularity to their advantage. Got shit sold up in there, and got the judges through that they wanted to get through. McConnell got the Senate that he wanted and kept it. That's what mattered to them. You don't matter. You don't matter. You were a pawn. You were a pop star, sis. And now that your record's not selling no more, now that you're starting to decline, what they going to do now, they know Biden coming in, they're going to find a new pop star. So the Republican Party is going to go and regroup, and the Democrats do this too. Don't get it fucked up. They're going to go and regroup. They're going to find a hot new artist or a rising star in the Republican Party that they can put up and challenge Biden or whoever. If Biden don't live till, I hope he lives till 2024. But whoever the Democratic, incumbent is or candidate is, they grooming their Republican, they grooming the next artist. They over you. You done. Unless you decide to run for some kind of office in 2024, try to run for president again in 2024, you done. They done with you. Somebody said he's like Old Town. Absolutely. So to put it like y'all saying, Mitch McConnell and Simon Cowell, like, y'all done. On to the next one, making a band. Because they always going to be there. And I hate to say it, but Lindsey Graham got another term that he shouldn't have got. Now that brings us to the Georgia runoff. Okay? We got this Georgia runoff situation with the Senates. Okay? You got John Ossoff running, and then Warnock running, Raphael Warnock running for Senate, these runoff seats in the Senate. Okay? This is where everybody's attention is now. This is now that the presidential seat has been taken, this is the most important ticket. This ticket actually matters more than the presidency. Okay? This runoff, because this ticket, if Ossoff and Warnock win their seats, this tips the Senate. And this tips McConnell's power. So really, Sir Trump, he don't got time to play with you right now. Because he's trying to preserve his power. Okay? So now what's going on, you're probably going to see an exorbitant amount of money put into the Republican candidate. One of them, Kelly Loeffler, okay, and then David Perdue. You're going to hear from a lot of those. The money that's going to go from both sides, okay. And let's talk about the money, okay. The amount, $100 million projected to go into a fucking two Georgia Senate races. $100 million. Yet, nobody can come up with a stimulus package that keeps us at home for an extended period of time, keeps us being able to feed our families and just live, but the RNC and the DNC and all of these, PACs and, political action committees and, donors, they can find $100 million to run ads and commercials for a Senate race in Georgia. Let's let that sink in. Let's let that sink in. But nobody can pass a goddamn fucking bill, a stimulus bill, to keep us home and keep us safe. And these are runoff races. This is not even a real Senate race. I mean, we had the real Senate race, but this is a runoff. Okay? But nobody has money for stimulus. Now we're in a place where it's really a fight for supremacy. These Senate races, Raphael Warnock and Ossoff, determine how the Senate goes. It determines how Joe Biden is going to be able to govern as a president. So, George, I need you to galvanize. All your friends is not over yet. Unfortunately, y'all carrying the nation right now. At least half of it. So y'all got to galvanize, Georgia, and bring it home. Now, to my point about this whole stimulus and nobody having money for shit, let's talk about vaccines, okay? So today, this is all, and see, this is why I like to wait. We had the election special where I was going, every other day and shit. And it was necessary. But sometimes you gotta let shit wait. And I feel like we all needed a break from that, right? So, shout out to Jingle Jangle on Netflix. I love that. But, there are two effective COVID-19 vaccines, okay? And I'm looking at this. So, Moderna, and this came out today, the news Monday that a second coronavirus vaccine has proven more than 90% effective in late-stage trials could be a game changer. And I think it was like 94%. Governments and vaccine developers are still figuring out how to distribute limited early stocks of the shots, whether they can pump up production to meet intense global demand, and, at least in the United States, how to overcome the rising tide of vaccine hesitancy. Okay. Still, experts said these are good problems to have. Okay. Barring any last-minute safety or efficacy concerns, vaccine developers Moderna and Pfizer plan to seek emergency use authorization this month from the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. The federal government is betting that the vaccination will begin as early as December, bitch. All right, so Moderna's announcement and Pfizer's news last week that this vaccine is more than 90% effective comes during the darkest period yet of the U.S. coronavirus epidemic. The country is now reporting more than 1 million new cases a week, crowding hospitals across the country. Nearly 250,000 people have died, and the surge shows no sign of slowing. Okay? Moderna's initial findings from its 30,000-person phase 3 trial have not yet been peer-reviewed or published in a scientific journal, but researchers said the results suggested that the vaccine was highly effective and safe. Okay? An analysis of the first 95 trial participants to contract the virus revealed that the vast majority, 90 people, had received a placebo, while 5 had received the Moderna vaccine. Okay? That amounts to a 94.5% efficacy rate, better than most scientists had expected for a first-generation corona shot. Okay? All 11 of the severe COVID-19 cases have occurred in placebo recipients. Most side effects reported by trial participants have been mild or moderate and short-lived. The most common severe reactions have included fatigue, headaches, and pain at the injection site. Okay? So, with these coronavirus vaccines, they're saying they're going to have a vaccine out. It's looking pretty promising. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I'm not a gung-ho person either. I am very much, I treat shit, I know I was joking online about getting a PS5. I'm very much, y'all, let somebody else work the bugs out first. And this is just me. And like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But, bitch, you're not just going to be shooting me up with some shit that you just rolled out in a couple of months. Because Corona, really hit in February since it's November of the same year. Okay? So, while I do encourage you to, follow precautions, wear your goddamn mask. I know me personally, I'm like zooted on vitamin D, zinc, vitamin B12, vitamin C, collagen, CoQ10. I'm on every vitamin, Noon tablets, bitch, emergency, orange juice. I'm on everything, okay? But, and so far it's been working out for me. Also, too, I do practice social distancing, okay? For the most part, I'll keep that up. If the first people come out and they do good and, yeah, girl, I got the vaccine and shit, it's going in. Like, yeah, party, party, party. Then I may revisit it. And I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to take the vaccine first, then go ahead. I'm not against that. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't test shit that's just being rolled out and being rolled out this quickly. That's just me. Okay? I'm already fat, and y'all love to point it out in the YouTube comments, bitch. Shout out to my trainer, Phil Morgan, over at Phil More Fit, helping me get my life back together. But y'all already say I'm fat. I'm not trying to add test dummy to my death certificate, okay? I ain't got it. If I'm going to die from something, I'm going to be having my hand on the steering wheel. Fuck it. It ain't going to be because I did some whack shit or let somebody test something on me. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right? But the vaccine does look promising. It does look like it's something that will, yield some great results, and things like that. Now, here's some new news okay? Here's some new news, okay, that just came in. And speaking, we were just talking about Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell and all of those people, right? So, You know they're doing the hand. They're recounting the votes in Georgia, and they're counting them all by hand. From what the officials in Georgia are saying, bitch, it's pretty much the same, aside from a few differences here and there. But it's not going to change what the fuck happened. Okay? So, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, asked the Georgia Secretary of State if it was possible to invalidate all mail ballots in counties with higher rates of mismatched signatures, the Secretary of State said on Monday. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger made the comments in an interview with the Washington Post, in which he also said Mr. Graham asked him whether poll workers might have accepted ballots with mismatched signatures because of political bias. Asked for comment on Monday, a spokesman for Mr. Raffensperger referred back to the Post article. Mr. Graham, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, told reporters on Capitol Hill that it was ridiculous to suggest that he wanted to throw out legal ballots. He said he simply asked Mr. Raffensperger for details about Georgia's signature verification process. Okay, Miss Lindsay. Okay, Miss Lindsay. Miss Lindsay. I'm going to need you to count to 10. I'm going to need you to count to 10 and get your life together, Miss Lindsay. You making phone calls. Girl, throw out them ballots. You thinking Raffensperger, you're going to go, girl, do the signatures match? And here's my thing. That whole signature thing, like how the fuck, like if I'm a little shaky, yeah, my signature is pretty consistent, but suppose I'm a little shaky that day. I done drunk too much coffee. I got the jitters. Or suppose I wrote on the surface that's a little grainy or something like that. Like who the fuck? Oh, the signature got it. I mean, that's really like these people are not professionals. Ooh, bitch, the signature. The signatures. You see where he put the stroke right there? That's not where the stroke was right there. And see here, it looks like he was unsure. Like, come on. Who the fuck does that? Okay? Like, who does that? I think that's a terrible way to verify ballots anyway. It amazes me. Like, I get it. Each state has their own ballot system. So, in theory, it's harder for outside forces to kind of like hack and disrupt every single state's voting, mechanism, because all of them have differences and variations. The forms may look a little different. Some people using Scantrons like it's 86. Like, it's a lot that go with that. You know what I'm saying? So I get that, but it just amazes me that in the year 2020, we still doing signature matches. We still looking at Scantrons, filling the bubble, bitch. They don't even fill in the bubble in school. I talked to my little brother and the young ones that I know. They like Scantron. What is that? And here our old ass is, let me go vote, bitch. Let me go vote. Make sure you got a black pen. Like, come on. Like, I just think the United States sometimes is just really, like, whack with how we do things. It's just, it blows my mind. But, that's that. Of course, in other news, Donald Trump is having a fit. He's decided to go off. He's basically checked out of work since his loss. He still refuses to fully announce that he lost, but nobody cares, bitch. You got roughly a little over, 2 months? It's November the 16th. You out of there January 20th. So go ahead, do what you can. Go to Mar-a-Lago, play golf, bitch. Just make sure the house is still, let the house stand till Joe get there. Okay, but nobody cares. But yeah, it's a lot going on in the world. We're heading into the holiday season, and I know it's going to be tough. Please practice social distancing. Okay, I'm not saying I know it's tough, and we've been dealing with this shit for a while. But people have dealt with things for longer than this. Okay? If Anne Frank, and I guess I'm going to go here, okay? If Anne Frank and her whole family and another family and a friend of a family could stay in a goddamn attic to hide from Nazi Germany for an extended period of time, you can stay in your house and just go to the supermarket and shit when you need to. You can do that. If enslaved Africans can be chained to the bow of a ship, okay, for months, facing disease, sickness, dead slaves, and attached to them in some cases, you can stay in the house. Like, I've never understood, like, Americans don't like to be told what to do. And I think ultimately that's what will be our ending, rather. Because I understand we want to go out. I miss people. I'm a social light. I miss going to the club. I miss going, to shows. I miss performing. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. I'm back working out to get my body back so when 2021 come, I can go ahead and work. I can kill the stage. I miss doing shows. I miss seeing y'all. I miss going to Christmas parties and shit. I'm not going to be able to do that. But at some point, and I'm talking to even California, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? I know y'all got beaches and shit, and it's nice. But what the fuck is, I'm hearing reports of people forgetting to wear their mask and Target got to turn them away. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? We going back on lockdown. Oregon, terrible. At some point, as we get ready to head into winter, for a lot of us on the East Coast and in the Midwest, it's going to be cold. Okay? It's going to be cold. Keep your gatherings to a minimum. Yeah, that's your homeboy, but you don't know where the fuck he been at. You don't know what he doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, I'm ready for this shit to be over, just like you are. But in order for that to happen, it's one or two things gotta happen. Don't complain about having to get a vaccine, but then not wanting to stay in the house. And if she said, oh, cabin fever, the way them PlayStation 5s and Xboxes is selling, y'all got plenty of shit to do because y'all was damn sure going off online about that. Netflix got millions, thousands of programs for you to watch. Shit. Getting through the 4 seasons of The Crown, that's a week out of your goddamn life right there. So, we got to really pay attention. We got to really, really think. And we really got to take care of each other. You know what I'm saying? It's time to cut the bullshit, team. It's time to, I'm ready to go back to the movies. I'm ready to live my life. But we can't do that if motherfuckers is just falling out, okay, and dying. All right? So play your part. Do what you got to do. As always, I love meeting with y'all. Right now, I always leave a television moment. I'm watching season 4 of The Crown. Motherfucking Gillian Anderson from X-Files. She's giving me my life. There's Margaret Thatcher. As always, Olivia Colman goes off. I'm here for it. Okay? If you haven't seen Jingle Jangle as well, add that to your holiday list. I think it's going to be a great film, and it'll be an eventual classic for families. But, Jingle Jangle. But, on that note, y'all have a great evening. It's Monday. We still got 4 more days to go. Then next week, we got a 3-day week for all of you in the workforce that are fortunate and lucky enough to be in the workforce in this time and in this economical crisis that we're in with the pandemic. We got 3 days, and then we got the holiday. That being said, y'all be safe. If you're not following me on social media, you can follow me on the tweets and the iJizzles at Dapper Dan Midas. Also, too, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the bell at the top for notifications. And also subscribe, youtube.com/Secretary of Shade. With that being said, you guys have a great rest of your week. And I will talk to you soon. Peace and love.